But are your friends serving you every day to meet your financial needs? We want to see you grow and prosper. And when you ever have a need, you'll get personal attention right here at home, not in some far-off corporate office. Number one in customer service, Apex Bank of Camden, Benton County's best bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Operation 7570 on this first day of October. Can you believe it? Weather is changing, cool air this morning. Going to be a beautiful, beautiful day, and we are certainly glad that you've decided to spend some of your Saturday morning with us as we get the month of October ready to go. Lots of things coming up in the fall, as you well know, and of course, when we get to this time of the year, we always like to bring in representatives from Benton County United Way. Joe Jones and B. Lashlee joins us this morning, and when they come in to address us, you know what time it is. That means it's time for the Good Neighbor Radio Auction, just around the corner. Ladies, welcome to the program today.
Well,
thanks for getting up.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you for having us. No.
I'm telling you, you're mentioning, we love this time of year, but it takes an adjustment and it can mess up your allergies and sinuses.
Yes, and your bones. As you know, we're not getting any younger, so sometimes it does hurt, but it's beautiful. It's such a pretty time, and I hope we have a long fall.
Well, B, we've missed you the last couple of times that Joe has been live in the studios with us. It's great to have you back.
Thank
you. You and your family still in our thoughts and prayers over the loss of Sandy a few months ago, and my, what a lovely woman she was.
She definitely was. She actually enjoyed the radio auction, so I'm going to miss her saying, bid for this, bid for this.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's get right to it, Joe. Right up front, what are the dates for the radio auction, and are we back to one time a year now?
Yes, we're going back to one time, 3 weeks. We start October the 10th through the 28th, and it's right here. It's here. And I don't know that we're totally prepared, but we're going to get there.
Let's just talk in case there are some newcomers out there watching us on Facebook, listening by way of radio, by way of WRJBradio.com. What is the Good Neighbor Radio Auction all about?
Well, United Way of Benton County, which is just Benton County, we are partners with 16 agencies that provide services for those people in need, and the radio auction helps to raise funds to distribute to those agencies. And so that's why we do this.
Yeah, we'll talk about the individual agencies as we go along this morning. B, I know you've been involved with United Way for a few years now. How did you get involved with the organization here in Benton County?
well, I was part of the United Way when I lived in Kenai, and when I got here, each year I always come in October to watch Tennessee football when I lived up there. Ooh. So I would always listen and wanted to be a part of it. So when I got back here, we started getting involved.
We got her in the allocations committee and then brought her onto the board.
Yeah.
She's a great asset. I can't do without my baby.
I would imagine, and it's helping great causes where you formerly were in Alaska and great causes here in Benton County, but I would imagine there would be some differences in Alaska as opposed to here in Benton County, isn't there?
Well, yes and no.
Okay, yes, of course.
United Way is the same. I mean, that we did have more because we were in a joint area with Soldotna, and so we had like 29, but it's all the same. We're here to help, so and help the nonprofits and try to keep them going and helping others.
Joe, regardless of where you are in all 50 United States and maybe overseas as well, but as B touched on, United Way, wherever the location is, it's neighbors helping neighbors.
Yes, it is. And each United Way is its own entity. You know, I don't have anything or any control over any other, and no one else other than United Way of Worldwide, who gives us a little bit of leeway with using their name. It's just everything stays here unless designated to go somewhere else.
Can you touch on maybe the history of United Way in Benton County? We've asked you this before. I know
You do
that.
that every time.
I'm sorry. I'll get the experts. I'll get Steve and Richard on sometime to talk about it.
Or Terry.
Yeah.
Terry Hudson. He was there when it started. From what I understand, in the early 90s is when United Way began. And then a little bit later, the auction started. And I believe Terry had a big part of getting the auction started.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, it evolved from a similar type situation over in Henry County that they did on their radio stations over there. I think it's called Helping Hands, and I think they do their auction maybe in January and February of the year, and it's sort of,
Yeah.
Terry just took that idea and rode with it here in Benton County.
Yes, and as you said, they have theirs longer. Of course, there's more things there and more people, so they raise a lot of money. But yeah, Terry got that started, and we started out, I think, the first year, if I'm right, around $4,000 is what they raised. And, you know, that was exciting because $4,000 was a lot to just get started. And now, you know, we have raised over $50,000, you know, in 3 weeks. Well, we've actually raised $79,000 one time. I forgot.
Yep.
Yeah. Since we've been doing the 2 and 2, it's hard for me to remember. But yeah, when we were doing, before we stopped the 3 weeks, we were up to 79 one time. And so that's what we're hoping for. But, you know, we had it into the spring, and I understand that a lot of people are kind of like, oh my goodness, it's time again, and we're doing it 3 weeks. But we have to have this auction sometime between July 1 and June 30th, or we won't have funding. And so even though we had it in March, July 1 started our new year. So we have to have this auction in order to have any funds to distribute. So that's why we're doing the 3 weeks, but we won't do it again in the spring.
Well, I know, you know, in the early days, we used a couple of different locations. At one time, I think, is at the National Guard Armory for a while, went up to New Beginnings, I think, for a while. Now, in recent years, we've pretty well found the permanent home.
Yes, we are at the First Methodist Life Center, and so they have been generous enough to let us continue to stay there. And they're such a big help in everything we do. You know, they help in the kitchen when they can. They help do whatever they can to keep us going, and we really appreciate them.
People listening on the radio or watching on the Facebook Live feed each day of the auction when we have it be, they see that aspect, but there's a lot of things you may not see on video, a lot of things you may not hear on radio, a lot of behind the scenes goes on up there at the church.
Lots, lots and lots. If it wasn't for our volunteers helping for, you know, in the auction and everything, we couldn't do it. One thing about Benton County, they'll volunteer, they'll donate, they are definitely community oriented. So, but I mean, you've got to get boxes to be able to ship out. You got to get the donations. You got to get everything ready. So,
well, we're 9 days away from the first day of the Good Neighbor Radio Auction this year, and this is something, Joe, you and B know, you've got to work on it months in advance. You just don't start today for something 9 days down the road.
No, you don't. Well, it's kind of an ongoing thing. You know, you talk to people, and they understand when you're going to have it. As soon as you get it, the date set, we kind of put it out there, and I start talking to different groups, and I sometimes feel like maybe I take people for granted, and I don't mean to, but we've had so many churches and groups that have participated over the years that I just kind of send them a packet and say, here's your day. And I hope and pray that they will do that. And it's not like we're expecting a whole lot. You know, we don't ask for a lot except from our agencies. We ask for a certain amount of items. But if any little church, big church, organization wants to give, I don't care if it's one item or 50 items, that one item is just as important as the 50 to me. And, you know, we need everyone, all sizes, all groups, everyone to help.
If you will, for a moment, from your point of view as the executive director, how have you seen this auction and United Way grow in what they do here in Benton County?
Well, I think the participation has grown every year, and another reason we're going back to the one time is it seems like that anticipation was greater, you know, when it's just once a year, because you have that whole year to think about it, and then here it is, and everyone gets excited. We went to the 2 times a year because of COVID. We thought it would be easier to just have 2 smaller or shorter ones, and we couldn't let people in, so we had to do it that way. But now we're opening up. We're back to the 3 weeks. We hope everyone will be excited. Yes, people can come in and eat. We're just so excited.
Sounds good. And you've got another good list of auctioneers, I understand.
I do. I have a lot of the old faithfuls. Steve and Richard, they're going to be there, and some others that have been there for a while. Joey Cooper and Robert Hudson, they're there, and several that are there most of the time. But I've got a few new people too. So, and you were talking about the people, the volunteers. I was thinking there's about 6 or 7 different spots that we have people in, and this year we've got new people in a lot of those places too, because we're trying to get more and more people involved, because as I said earlier, we're not getting any younger, and we want the younger people to get involved, and it seems like they want to be more hands-on, so hopefully we'll get them involved.
B, it's very important to have this next generation coming on and get involved with organizations like the United Way.
Oh, definitely. We're looking for young people all the time to come in and start on the volunteer level, and just maybe even come up, get on the board even. And I don't see as many. Hopefully we'll see more get involved and know what we are and what we do and who we help. And but this community, I just keep going back to it. The young ones do get involved in lots of things, and so I'm looking forward to seeing the younger group come on in and start helping.
A few years ago, Allie Webb, when she was still in high school, as a matter of fact,
Yes.
fine young lady,
Yep.
she helped me on a day as we did the auctioneering chores that day. Now she's, I think, her final or next final year at law school at Belmont.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Yes.
And talking about the younger people, some of our board have had to step off lately, and one of them being Sean Hatler, who was a big help to me. He has moved to Savannah, Georgia, taking a new job, so we didn't have him, and I need young people. So Rachel Baker, Richard, she'll always be Rachel Baker, but we have asked her to join the board, and she's already been a great help to me, because the way of the future is technology, and I'm not really good at that, and I don't really want to learn a lot of that. I know what I know, and that's all I want to know.
And as time in the past recent years, we've tried it, and technology changes every day.
Yes.
We've tried, in addition to having the audio up on WRJB, maybe WRJBradio.com, we've tried that, the Facebook in recent years up there.
Yes, we have the Facebook, and that's great. That's great.
As we've talked time and time again, there is a delay. If you're watching on Facebook, there is a delay. It's what you view on the Facebook and here is a part, as opposed to what's happening in real time.
Yeah, I think Dylan said it's close to 20 seconds, so watch on Facebook, but listen to the radio in bed. And I would suggest turning the sound down on the Facebook, because it is a delay, and then just listen. And don't wait. A lot of people love to wait until just before the bell rings and call in. And if you do that, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it because of the delay if you watch Facebook and listen to that one.
And B, you mentioned your fine mother a few moments ago, how she always listened and took part in bid on a lot of items, but down through the years, volunteers up there, we've lost just numerous volunteers,
some
and
really
we appreciate
good
all
ones.
those folks, and
Oh,
still
yeah.
they're in our memories forever.
Always,
Yes.
because we had some really, really good workers that have passed on, and it's sad. It's it was hard to lose Mother, but it was just as hard to lose them when this time comes and we remember them. So.
Talk about the people that might be working the kitchen, they're working outside, the auctioneers and the people answering the phone, and, the people taking up the money if they're a successful bidder. B, would you have any idea approximately how many people it takes to run the auction on a day-by-day basis?
Lots. I wouldn't know now. Joe
Between 30 and 40.
Good bunch.
Yeah.
And they just like coming up there. They're helping a great cause, but at the same time, it's great fellowship for everybody.
Oh, gosh.
It is. It really is. I mean, Bee didn't get to help as much last year, and she's going to be there this year more. And I'm gonna kind of take a day and go watch my grandbabies play ball.
Man.
But yeah, we have some that have been there for a long time, as I said. But it takes several. We have just we grab people as they come in. If they come in to pick up an item and we're busy, we'll say, hey, go help this person, go do that. So, yeah, it takes a lot of people.
You know, folks like you, Joe, and B, we see it United Way, but this is not the only community activity and helping neighbors. This is not the only activity that you and other personnel get involved with. So why do you want to get involved with so many things? And how do you balance your time? You girls are very busy with other things. How do you balance all your time?
Do you see these bags? No.
These red eyes.
Yes. Well, I've told this 1,000 times, and I don't know B's reason, but my grandmother and granddaddy were involved in everything, and my parents were helpers, and that's just all I know is to be a helper. And I get emotional, but that's what I know how to do. And it's hard to step back when you want to help people.
And when you marry into the Weatherly family, you're going to take part in fair activities, you're going to take
Yes.
part in school activities, United
Yes,
Way,
church.
activities,
Yes.
regardless, you're going to do that.
And if you know the Weatherlys, we cry. So that's part of us. We care. We care deeply. So
The same way with your fine family.
Yeah, we, you know, it all comes back to community, you know, helping others, helping hands, you know. I think, you know, my family's been in public service forever, and that was instilled in me to help others. And I think that is in a lot of people in this county. So.
Yes.
And Brett and I have talked, and Frank and I have talked about the history of your family long before your generation, of course, and going back and serving in capacities in the state legislature and other things within the community. And I just love, your brothers have a great set of old pictures, and I'm sure you do too. Great history there.
Everybody laughs. When they come into my house for the first time, they always want to go to the picture wall, and I have a whole picture wall from the beginning to now. And so when you make the picture wall, it's a good thing. So.
And that's why I encourage people today, so I can talk to this younger generation, take your pictures, and you know, you're going to look back. Some people may say, well, we're flooded. They put too many pictures on Facebook, whatever, but you'll look back on that 25, 30 years from now. You'll be glad,
and
yes,
remember,
you'll be glad you
those
got it.
memories are, you know, I've got one of grandmother, and of course I didn't know granddaddy, and but with little, you know, when she worked for the state and stuff, and I love going through them, and I keep every paper from the Chronicle. I think I've got boxes because I said, and somebody said, well, why do you keep them? I said, because they'll be like us. We'll want to go back and look and see what happened. So
and in fact, a short while after her mom passed away, she was going through some of those things, and she called and said, I have something for you. And she had the clipping of Angie, AJ, my daughter, when she was playing in high school in the tournaments, and she made the Jackson Sun. And so she had that, and she said, I don't know why, but I have it. So she brought it to me, and of course, I had it, but it was great to have another copy.
Absolutely, and there's no telling what's in storage boxes, old trunks that
Yes.
have old newspaper clippings from the past, as a
Yes.
matter of fact, and it's documented. And you know, these things, I love digital. They need to get on digital, but at the same time, something about those old original
Something
clippings
about
in the
just
newspaper.
looking, and
yes.
looking at pictures, you know, just turning the page and looking at pictures. That's a good thing, too.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, got a little off subject here, but that's okay.
That's okay.
We can talk with these two all day long about different things. They know Benton County inside and out. But we need to take a break right now. We need to take a break for our good friends at Apex Bank. And when we come back, we'll talk more about the Good Neighbor Radio Auction coming up in just a few days. Stick around.
Apex Bank of Camden, proudly serving the Benton County community since 1931. In recent years, through growth and expansion, we've taken that same local community spirit into other markets. Today, with over 20,000 customers across Tennessee, our business philosophy remains the same. Local people making local decisions, serving our friends and customers, and investing in the communities that we serve. Here for you yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Apex Bank of Camden, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Operation 7570. As this morning on the program, Joe Jones and B. Lashlee are a guest from Benton County United Way and the Good Neighbor Radio Auction annual event of WRJB and United Way is just around the corner. It begins 1 week from this coming Monday, running through the month of October for a 3-week period of time, and we're looking forward to that like always. And one of the aspects of the United Way auction beat each and every year, sponsorship. You've got to have a lot of good sponsors. How does the sponsorship look for this year?
Well, it's looking pretty good. We could always use more. We have 5 different ways to sponsor. We have our daily sponsors. That runs about $50, and your name gets said over, and you can do it as a memorial or honoring someone. My mother will definitely be on that.
And on the scrolling screen,
Yep.
we'll be doing that.
And then we have the hand raisers, and that's during the auction for 5 days. We keep that on the scrolling, and they're announced, and that runs $250. And then Game Changers, which is definitely a game changer. It's announced 3 times. I mean, it's all day long for 10 days. You know, our auctioneers get up and we always read our sponsors and everything. And then we have the Ronnie Trout. And that is for 15 days for the whole auction. And it's displayed and it's run and it's announced. You know, Ronnie was a big part of the United Way auction for many, many, many years, and we do miss him.
Yes.
And then we have the Susan Goodman, and that is our $1,000 sponsorship, and that one will go for all year. You know, not only it'll start at the auction and it'll go all year. They'll be named in any event that we do, and you know, without these sponsors, not only from the items that we auction, this helps us tremendously. And the businesses and even individuals in this community have just been great. And we hope they'll be great some more. I know there's lots of things going on right now, and businesses here in Camden and Big Sandy and in different places have they step up. It makes my heart swell. You know, it's sort of like the Grinch at Christmas. It just gets bigger and bigger because they just keep donating and to all these places, and we appreciate it.
In case someone out there is hearing us this morning, watching on Facebook, that would like to be a sponsor, what can they do?
Well, they can get in touch with Joe, of course. They can call the United Way office. If you see me around town, which isn't that often lately, but call me, get on Facebook, send us a message. We'll get there. We'll come to you. You don't have to come to us. If you want to do a sponsorship, we'll come to you. Just give us a call.
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, this is kind of the first time that we've done an actual sponsorship level kind of thing, tier level. And we've always had the daily sponsorships. But as she was reading them out, our theme is we're the hand raisers, the game changers, and that's what we want to be. And speaking of Ronnie and Susan, of course, they were a huge part. Ronnie was the radio auction, and Susan was the director for years and years, and so we wanted to honor them by doing that, and we just thought that was the great way of naming the different levels.
It really, really is. And of course, as Bea mentioned, in case people would be interested in sponsorships, contact you, Bea, of course, and you reach them on Facebook as well.
Yes, that's right. And if we are going around to some businesses in different places and asking for these sponsorships, and since this is the first time, we're not getting to everyone. So if you want to do that, please let me know. As Bea said, a lot of the sponsors will be on a display board where people can see that as they come in the door, as well as on the scrolling screen. But I've got to have those in by Monday, and so if someone would like to be one of the sponsors, the $750 or the 1,000 or the 500, they can let me know and I'll get them on the board, and then I can always get their money later. But
Most people are going to be good for the money,
yeah,
aren't they?
if not, I'll hunt them down.
I'm
No.
sure you will. Yes, ma'am, you sure will. No question about that. Another important aspect, the daily meals, and you're working
Yes.
on that, compiling that list right now. Always
Yes.
good eatings.
There's always good
Always.
food. That's right. And as I told you when we first came, we still need a couple, and we're working on those. But we've got a good variety of things to eat this time. We're going to have our chicken and dressing. That's always good, and the chicken spaghetti from the hospital. And let's see, we're going to have Dawn's Daymaker, Lisa's to Go. We're doing enchiladas one day, and those two are sponsored by an outside person. And then Holiday Methodist Church, Flatwoods Methodist Church, the Christians in
Western.
Action, yes, Country and Western. We're going to have their
Lasagna.
dumplings. Yeah. Holiday United Methodist are going to have Craig's lasagna, and so that'll be great. Let's see. Oh, First Baptist is going to do a taco bar, and so that'll be something new and different, and so we're excited about that. And another day, we're going to have chicken pot pie, green beans, and cream potatoes. And you know, it's good chicken pot pie time, so it's that time of year. And as I said, we still need a couple of meals, and so if anyone would like to donate a meal or sponsor a meal, that would be great. They can get in touch with me, and we can, if you want to just sponsor, we'll find one of the local restaurants to do a meal for us, and or if you want to cook, that's great too. And more than likely, I'll be cooking some of the time. And I promise I'll have a peach cobbler one day, and a banana pudding probably.
Oh, man. Now, the meals each day, regardless of who is providing the meal, will they be the set price every day during the course? Is that
Well,
vary?
that's what we're discussing. On the first day, we're debating on that. We normally have like hot dogs or something like that. So if we do that, we're going to probably drop the price on the first day because it's kind of a slow day, and that'll probably be $5, and then the other meals will be $8 until the last day, which is the ribeye sale. And unfortunately, as y'all know, beef has gone up, everything's gone up, so we will have to raise the price for those to $10, and which that's still a great thing. And all these meals, I want to get people to realize this is a donation. Yes, you may, well, I don't think you could go anywhere and eat for $8 now, but it is a donation, and it does help someone else.
We mentioned at the top of the program the partnership agencies with United Way, and do you have the list of agencies that this auction and what you do throughout the course of the year, the list that this project is going to be helping in coming months?
I do. We have the Ministerial Alliance, as you know, and that helps with the food bank. The Rescue Squad, the Benton County Senior Center, Benton County Track and Field. As you know, that's for the field day at the high school. Let's see, the volunteer program, Big Sandy Senior Center, Cary Counseling Group Home, and that goes towards dental work for the clients that live there. Chalk Level Fire Department, Eva Fire Department, and Holiday Fire Department. FYI Clinic, and as you know, they have a new location, and so we help to fund them. We are partners with Second Harvest Food Bank as well, and we have funded the mobile food pantry that comes to the First Methodist Church. We've done that. We Care Daycare, that's the after-school daycare at the elementary school, and West Tennessee Boy Scouts and RAP. Those are the agencies that we help fund.
And I think at the top of the program, B, it was mentioned that you're on the allocation committee, and I guess your committee has to meet, you and the fine members of that committee meet on a periodic basis to determine, oops, thank goodness the top was on, live radio folks, but to determine, how much each of these agencies will get from the available funds.
We do. We get together once a year, and we get people all over the community to come in and sit, and some of the board members and others. And, we get all our money this is pretty much where it comes from. And if we don't get that money, then we can't disperse it. And it's a hard, sometimes it gets really hard. We can't meet what they're asking for. And so this helps us help them to help others. So, I mean, it's a chain. And that's why we always come here and come, bid often, bid high. You know, that's the main thing. These revenues that we get from this goes right back into this community. So then the allocation committee has to disperse between all 16 of them on what we get. So.
Well, I was going to say, I put them in teams and they go out and visit the different agencies as well, so they see what they do and they can come back and explain to the others what is being done. And it's not a vote. A lot of people say, well, how do you vote for it? We just discuss it, as B said. We go around and around, and they go through it about 3 different times before they make the final decision. And it tugs at your heart when you don't have a lot of funds to give. And Lashlee said, this is our money. This is our money for these agencies. It used to be workplace, but we can't get into the workplaces as often as we used to. And I have found that the older employees are retiring, and again, the younger people, they don't really realize the need, I guess. And so our workplace funding is down greatly. So the radio auction is what we have to have.
Can an individual make a contribution to United Way and designate that contribution go to one of these agencies?
Yes, they can. Workplaces, they can. Now, or if they just contact me. Now, the radio auction, what we do there is the different agencies bring items, and those items go up, and whatever they raise, whatever the sales for that is, they get that designated to them. So, like, say for instance, the rescue squad, their items brought $1,200. They know they're going to get that $1,200 if nothing else. And so I thought that would be a great incentive a few years ago. We started that, and I think it's helped a lot because then they know they're going to get something. And then the other money is what we have to allocate.
Okay. Well, B, is there a need right now for more auctions to be, or more items to be donated on the tables, on the segments, on the 30-minute segments? Still a need for that right now?
Always. Any individual can just bring up an item if they want to. We have long-term items and we have short-term items. The long-term items are like, let's say, the more expensive things, and they're done on the last Friday. It's, you can come see them the whole 3 weeks, but then they'll go on the last Friday. And but little items, homemade items, food goes good sometimes. I've been on lots of food, so it's had my dinner many times. So, but anybody, you don't have to be a business. You don't have to be part of the church. You can just be somebody that, out there and hears the radio auction and want to.
And we've had that. Last year, I know of a couple of people that just walked in the door and they said, I heard this on the radio and I have something that I would love to give, and bring it on, because we will put it up for auction. As long as they're new items,
Sure.
That's what we do.
B, you mentioned the food items go very well, and we have some great experts out there who are skilled in culinary activities,
Oh my gosh,
Cakes and
these
pies and
cakes are just unbelievable, and nuts and bolts, and I mean just all types of food. But those cakes they bring in, my goodness, they're something.
Yeah, we have several. Of course, Susie Belisle's one. I hate to name names. Trying to think of others. but I know hers are always a big hit. And of course, my mom makes a rum cake, and Steve always makes a big deal. But she made him a rum cake about 2 weeks ago, and he was so excited, and he could get ready,
Did
for
he say,
the
forget about
auction.
the cake and tell me about the rum?
Well, he does that. He teases her all the time about how much did you pour in and how much did you drink, and that just makes Mom laugh, of course. But we have a lot of bidding wars on that. And my mother-in-law, I hate to brag about my people, but she does the fried pies. I know a lot of people around here have bought her fried pies, and so we have some pretty good bidding wars on those. Some of those things have gone for $175, $200 the cakes and that different ones bring, and so that's pretty good. And she mentioned the long-term items, the last day. That is, as she said, are the more expensive items. And Steve and Richard, they get there, and of course, I don't have a number that I want to meet, but as the auction goes on and we get more and more, I get more excited and think, okay, we need this. And I tell them when they get there, this is what I want. And most of the time, they get it or more. And it just amazes me
She's
how
very emotional that day.
Yes. If you've seen me, you know I'm squalling and bawling the whole time and raising my hand and praising the Lord because people are so good to give. And it's just amazing.
Soft subject, but a few weeks ago, how did Mom enjoy the helicopter ride down to the fair?
She did. It was awesome. My mom will be 89 in about 3 weeks, and she hasn't got to go to the fair the last couple of years, but she always participated and helped in the red building, as it used to be. Now everything's in the white building. But she wanted to go down because of the helicopter rides, and she said, that's the one thing I want to do. And we did. I wasn't going to because I've ridden in a helicopter flat, and I did not want to ride in it again. But Keith, my brother, was going to ride with her, so we get down there, and I thought, he's not going to be able to take pictures, so I guess I need to go. So we went to get in, and I have to laugh. You have to get your leg up there pretty high to get in there. Well, Mother couldn't, and Keith's back was not feeling so good, but Keith and the guy that was there, they were pushing and I was pulling, and we got her in there. And at first she was like, oh me, and then the biggest grin came on her face, and she just loved it. She said the next time she's going to do the longer ride. We just did the little short circle around the fairgrounds, but she wants to do the longer ride. So that was amazing, just to get to see the smile on her face.
Fantastic, and happy early birthday to that young lady.
Yes.
Great milestone that she's reaching. Of course, the United Way radio auction is coming up, as we've talked about, and this might be the way that people see you as more visible out in the community, but at the same time, you're doing things the other 11 months of the year. What are some other activities United Way is involved with, Joe, that people might not be that familiar with?
Well, we also have the Step the Bus program, where we have items donated, school supplies or money, and then if it's funds, then I purchase things. Karen Hudson sometimes tells me what's needed. We put together bags of school supplies and we hand those out to the students. We used to be with the health fair, and they haven't had that in a couple of years, so we have been at the First Baptist Church and given out the bags. And this past time B got to be a part of that, and we handed out it's about 300, and we have handed out over 400 in the past. But and then throughout the year, I buy supplies for the schools as they need it. We have also done other food pantries or mobile pantries other than the one we sponsor. We sometimes get extra funds that we can help with that. We've given funds to the fuel program, which is the food at the school. What else do we do?
We do a Jingle Bell Run.
We do the Jingle Bell Run, which is another fundraiser, and that's coming up December the 10th, the day of the Christmas parade and the Christmas on the Square thing. We have a Jingle Bell Run that morning, and we'll be talking more about that, and I'll have registration forms at the auction if anyone wants to go ahead and register. And what else have we been doing lately? We get funds other ways that we can give out, not just through the allocations. we were fortunate enough to get a grant, a community cares grant. And with that, I am able to help people myself, small ways, as long as it's a great need. I've helped people through COVID with their rent and things like that. And unfortunately, that's almost gone. But I think COVID's here. We've got to learn to live with it. And the money was thrown out at the beginning. We got a lot of funds that first year. And I think everyone thought, oh my goodness, there is a need, let's help. And now everyone's back to normal, kinda, and they're doing their own thing. So we're hoping that everyone will listen and participate, because we do still need all those funds.
Well, B, we're running out of time this morning, and we're looking forward to the event. So what would you like to say in closing about coming up here in just a few days about United Way Radio Auction?
Come out. We're in person now. Come out, look at the items each day, eat the meal. It's from 11 to 1 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday. The auction is from 1 to 4 or 5? 1 to 5. On WRJB. And, that's the thing. Just come out, and you'll want to bid when you come out. So just come out.
And we will have walk-up bids again. And so it's going to be like it used to be, where you can just come and sit and enjoy the day. I remember the day we had people up there and they just bid back and forth and laugh and have a good time, and that's what it's about. Fellowship, community, people helping each other.
Do you have the numbers set in stone yet?
I don't.
Okay.
I will go and get those this week. We only get those for a month, and so I try to wait until the last minute, and as soon as I get those numbers, I will put them up on our Facebook pages, and I will come up here and give them to whoever, so y'all can announce them on the radio.
All right then, and always appreciative to the fine staff at First United Methodist Church for hosting this each and every year. And Brother Adam up there has been with us a few weeks right now, so he's going to get initiated as to what the radio auction's all about.
Yes, and he's going to be an auctioneer one day, so we're excited about that. We're going to really get him into it. He seems to be very excited about being here and participating in the community, so we're going to
Put him to work.
Put him to work, yeah.
Great to have him in our midst.
Oh, yes, he's very communicative-oriented, and I like him a lot. He's yes.
Well, he's got my sister's seal of approval as well, and that takes a lot.
There you go.
I don't even have that. Myself.
Not often, anyway.
Yeah. And as we close, Joe, this morning, you mentioned Apex Bank. They have office. They provided office space for you at United Way.
Yes, they provide my space in the back, and I appreciate that so much. They helped me quite a bit.
Anything in closing we need to know about this morning?
Well, come out, as B said, and see the items. Look on Facebook. You can look at the pictures. They will be up before the auction starts, and then you can kind of know what you want to bid on. And as she said, just come out and be with us. It's a time to get back together and to enjoy each other and have a good time. And I want to mention our revival. Our revival at Cal's Chapel starts tomorrow night, so if anyone would like to come out, we'd love to have y'all come out and see that and hear that.
Great preaching, I think, the next 3 nights.
Yes, we have Brother Larry Jameson, Steve Whitworth, and Daniel King. They will be our pastors for the 3 nights, in that order.
That's right. And Brother Ken Bill doing a great job out there.
He's doing a great job. We like him a lot.
I was up there at Shiloh, I guess 2 weeks ago now, when they had the fish fry up at Sister Church Shiloh, and that was tremendous.
Yes, they made a lot of money that time. That was great.
Yeah. Well, girls, thank you so much for being in our studios. I always appreciate the work you and everybody does for United Way. United Way Radio Auction, ladies and gentlemen, just around the corner. You'll be hearing much, much more about that here on the radio station and up on our Facebook pages in the coming days. So thanks to Joe Jones and to B. Lashlee for being with us, and congratulations to the Camden Lions. They won their homecoming game last night over Houston County by a final score of 56-30. Culminated a great week of homecoming activities at the school as they tried to get back to normal following these past 3 years under the COVID and the pandemic, that sort of thing. But been a great week, and congratulations to the football team of Camden Central. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our program on Operation 7570. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you next Saturday morning.
For more than 85 years, Apex Bank of Camden has built a tradition of local people serving local